Welcome to Memphis Light Gas and Water's Power Up Memphis. I'm your host, Gail Jones Carson, the Director of Corporate Communications. The aim of Power Up Memphis is to take you, our customers, on an inside tour of MLGW to share our programs and operations with you, our customers. And by doing so, we can all better understand how we function as your utility provider. Welcome to Power Up Memphis. I'm Gail Jones Carson, your host. I'm the Director of Corporate Communications for Memphis Light Gas and Water. And today, my guest is Joe Bird, who is the Manager of Customer Metering and Billing. Yes. And we are going to be discussing the disconnection process at Memphis Light Gas and Water. Welcome,
Yes.
Joe.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here today.
Okay, so Joe, the disconnect process at Memphis Light Gas and Water.
Several phases that we go through. So
Okay.
we want to talk about from the time the customer first signs for service, and then we'll go through the different types of disconnects.
Okay, Joe, just say, for example, that a customer comes in and does not have the proper identification that Memphis Light Gas and Water requires for opening an account. Can that person open the account and then come back within a specified period of time and bring the necessary identification?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
We would still run the credit assessment.
Okay.
Okay. And then we would provide the customer with some documentation, what we call a residential service agreement form.
Okay.
And they would have anywhere from 45 to 60 days to get that information back to us.
Okay. Including the identification.
Including the identification, a copy of their ID,
Okay.
and a copy of another form of identification, a picture ID and another form of
Okay, so
identification.
what is a credit assessment?
A credit assessment is what we run to determine if the customer would have to pay a deposit or not pay a deposit. It doesn't affect their credit with Equifax or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just determining for the utility purposes what we would assess as a deposit for the customer.
Okay, so what is the determining factor for which levels of credit that Light Gas and Water looks at? I mean, how do they determine what kind of customer?
Right, well,
this
there's a
is going
certain
to?
score that they have to meet
Okay.
in order to not have to pay that deposit. So if they meet that score, they don't have to pay the deposit. If they do not meet that score, then they will be required to pay the deposit.
Okay, now that we're on deposits, customers who are required to pay a deposit, do they have to pay the whole deposit at the time that they open up service,
No.
service with us?
They don't have to pay the entire deposit. We can bill the deposit over 8 billing cycles.
Oh,
it's
8
$200.
Okay.
The minimum deposit is $200.
Okay.
And we could set that up over 8 billing periods at $25 each.
Oh, okay, that's great to know. Some of
Okay.
our customers may not have known that they could do that over. They don't have to pay the entire amount at one
Right,
time.
at one time.
Okay.
So that leads us to our non-service disconnect.
Okay.
Once we
What is a non-service
disconnect? So I'm getting to that.
Okay.
In MLGW world, for those who are listening for MLGW, it's called our C13.
Okay.
Okay. For other customers that are not MLGW, I call it our non-service.
Okay.
Because technically these customers are not our customers until we get all of the pertinent information to set up their accounts.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So once they come in and we sign them up for service, and let's say they don't have that ID, then we let them go with the residential service agreement, and we give them that time to get that information back
Which
to
is
us.
45 to 60 days.
That is correct. But during that time period, we're going to send them a reminder notice. They get a letter. They get a phone call.
Okay.
And then we'll send them a notice to say we're going to disconnect the services because you have failed to return the items needed to secure your account.
Okay.
And so once we disconnect that service, and we will disconnect any services that they have that we've placed in their name, what we call conditional service, until we get the information back. And once you come into the office with that information, then we will restore the service.
Okay.
So that's our, what I call our non-service disconnect.
Oh, okay. And,
Okay.
and that's tied to opening up the account and
Yes.
providing the appropriate documentation for that account.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, and then our next type of is what we call our requested disconnect. Say you now have services and you want to move either to another location or you want to stop service altogether.
Okay.
So that's called a requested disconnect. In MLGW's world, it's called a C10 disconnect.
Okay.
And so the customer can call. We have to have 24-hour notice. and we do not do disconnects on the weekend. So if you call us on Friday, it will be the following Monday.
Okay.
If you call us Monday, we can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever other day that you want us to do that disconnect.
Okay, so this particular disconnect, when a customer is at a residence or a facility, and once his or her service is disconnected, and they move into another place and want a reconnect, how do you handle this customer's bill when they disconnect service at a prior residence?
Okay. At a prior residence, once you call in to say that you either want to move or discontinue services altogether, we're going to ask you to give us a forwarding address.
Okay.
That may be your new address where you also are going to continue services with us, or it may be an address where you just want the final bill to go to so that you can pay the final bill. Say you may be moving out of town. So you give us that address and we will forward the bill to you at that particular address so that you can pay that final bill. If you're going to continue service with us, we'll start services for you at your new address, and we will forward the old bill to the new address.
Okay, now, you know, a few weeks ago, you and I had a situation, and I had one prior to that, where a customer received, who had done that, closed out one address and moved to another address, and this lady received a zero, well, she thought her balance was zero. Which, of course, she knew when she left the other place that she did owe, like gas and water, some money. So why would a customer receive a bill with zero balance? Because that is somewhat confusing to some of our customers, even though they do know that they had an outstanding balance with us.
Right. So let me explain that process. If you move from one premise to another and establish service at another address with MLGW, we give you 30 days or one billing cycle or maybe two billing cycles to pay up or clear up their previous balance. If you do not clear up that balance...
Do they get a bill for their previous balance?
Yes, they do. They get a bill at the new address where they are, where they moved to. We send them their bill at the new address telling them it was for services at the old address, because they're also getting a bill at the new address for the new services at that address.
Okay, so they will have an old bill and they will have the services charged for the new address as well.
That is correct. Okay. So if they do not pay that bill from the old address, in our system after two billing cycles, that money then transfers to the new address. And so what you would get from the old address is a zero balance bill. But then that money has now been transferred to your new address.
And so some people get confused and try to figure out, well, why is my bill so high? But it is from the previous amount of money that they owe Memphis Light Gas and Water at their old address.
That is correct.
Okay, so now we can go on to the next disconnect.
Our next disconnect is what we call our non-pay disconnect. And so this happens when we have sent you a bill, and after the 15th or 16th day of that bill, if it has not been paid, then you're going to receive a cutoff notice. The cutoff notice details to you what amount is owed and what date you need to pay it by. And it also gives you that you need to pay it to the minimum that we allow you to carry. $199, $399. A lot of our customers already know that. So our non-pay disconnect is what in the MLGW world is what we call the C11 or C12. So we would.
Well, the $199, if customers pay their bill down to $199, then they don't have to worry about that being disconnected.
That is correct.
That is our minimum threshold.
It's our minimum threshold.
But customers who have good credit, their threshold, if they pay down to, they can get up to $399.
Up to $399. That is correct, to carry their balance. So, but once we send you the notice.
And how many days before the services are disconnected do customers get a notice?
They get a notice, I think 15 days prior to. And then the notice will tell them the exact date that they need to pay it by, the amount, or pay it down to the minimum. If the customer fails to do that, then we're going to go out and disconnect the service. So this is sometimes a three-tier process, because sometimes customers move and don't tell us that they've moved. So we'll go out and we'll disconnect the electric. 30 days later, we're going to disconnect the gas. 30 days later, we're going to disconnect the water.
But now this is a mail process, mailing 15 days before. However, if our customers have text alert, they will get an alert via text from My
Yes.
Gas and Water, 3
Yes.
days to let you know. In 3 days,
Your
we will
services are going to be disconnected.
Okay.
That is correct.
So we encourage our customers
And
to
we
get
also-
text alert. We'll let you know when your bill is due. We also let you know 3 days before you're going to be disconnected with the text. So please consider getting our text alert.
Right, and if they have payment arrangements on their account, if they've made a payment arrangement, they're going to get a phone call.
Okay.
To alert them that your services are about to be disconnected. So they have multiple opportunities. In addition, once they get the new bill for that address, they've got a past due amount, and we've read their meters again. So now they have a past due balance that they've already received the notice for. If they look in the blue box on their bill, it will tell them that you've made a payment arrangement and that amount is due this date, this amount prior to disconnection. So that's our non-disconnect process. Now, if the customer, for some reason, does not allow us access to our meters to disconnect, then we have other processes that we use to disconnect. We'll cut you at the weatherhead, we'll cut you at the pole, we'll cut you at the pull box if you don't allow us access.
And if the customer has a smart meter, we can cut from our location.
That is correct. If it's a smart meter, then they don't have to worry about being cut in one of those other means.
Yeah.
But if they don't have a smart meter, then we use other means to get the services disconnected if they don't allow us access to our meters.
Okay, so we're about to wind down, and I appreciate you for this information. Is there any tip or tips that you would like to leave with our customers before we close this segment of the show?
Well, the only tip I'm going to leave is the same tip that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Pay attention to your bill.
Okay.
Okay? And I did want to talk about one other, Gail, if we have just a moment, and that's our theft of service disconnect.
Yes, okay.
Which is what we call in MLGW world the C14.
Okay.
That is when we have disconnected service.
Okay.
And so now you are using service unauthorized.
Oh, okay.
So we get alerts either through your neighbors may report that the service is back on, our meter readers will report services back on, our customer service men will go out and determine that this service should be off, or they investigate and determine that it should be off. And at that process, then we're going to have to go out, send our revenue protection area out. They go out and then do an investigation to determine what charges should be assessed to this customer for theft of service. And that comes with diversion fees, that comes with, we charge you with any usage that have gone through the meter, and you could also be charged for any damage that you've done to our meter.
And also, it is illegal.
It is illegal.
Customers can be charged with...
You can be charged with theft of service, which is a misdemeanor determining on the amount of services that you have used unauthorized. Of course, over $500, you're looking at a felony. So you want to be careful not to use services unauthorized. People do go back out and turn on the meter once we've disconnected them. Okay. So as a tip, I would always say to our customers, if you're unsure, please call our call center at 544-6549 to determine what it is that you need to do to have services reestablished in your name. If you are the owner of a property and you're not sure why the services was being used, then that owner would have to provide us with documentation to show that they are not responsible and let us know who is responsible, and then we would charge that person with the theft of service.
Well, Joe, thank you so much. You always provide very valuable information for our customers, and we greatly appreciate that. Thank you for watching this segment of Power Up Memphis. We'll be back shortly.
At MLGW, we're working hard to make your life simpler. With our new prepay option, you have the flexibility to choose when you pay your bill. Pay a little each week or once a month. You're in control. And with Prepay's simple-to-use interface, you can initiate payments, set balance alerts, and track your balance and usage in real time. Plus, with Prepay, there are no late fees, deposits, or reconnection fees. Avoid any end-of-month surprises with MLGW's Prepay system. Come into a location and sign up today.
Welcome to Memphis Light Gas and Water's Power Up Memphis. I'm Gail Jones-Carson, your host. Today, my guest is Phelan Grant, who is a supervisor in service dispatch. Welcome, Phelan.
Thank you for having me, Gail.
Okay, so we're going to be discussing Memphis Light Gas and Water's Pilot Light Safety Inspection Program. So, Phelan, could you tell us a little bit about this program?
Yes, Gail. Our pilot light safety inspection program is quickly approaching, and what we want to do is bring awareness, be intentional in bringing awareness to all of our customers so that they'll know exactly what they need to do, have all the information that they need to know so they can get their pilot light safety inspection during this year. And our intention is to make sure they're going to be safe and comfortable during this upcoming winter season.
Okay, so when does the program actually kick off?
Okay, we have 4 dates we need to be mindful of.
Okay.
It actually kicks off on August the 6th. August the 6th is the first date that our phone lines will actually open up for the customers to actually make appointments. Okay. Now, next important date, September the 2nd. Okay. That's the date that we'll actually begin working the pilot light safety inspections.
Okay.
All right? Between the month of September and October, the pilot light safety inspection program is completely free for all our customers.
So customers do not have to pay for the service to have anyone come out and turn their pilot light on?
During the month of September, it's absolutely free for everyone, so we try to encourage everyone, all of our valued customers, to make sure they take advantage of that free opportunity during that time.
Okay.
Now,
so when should they start calling in?
August the 6th is when they can actually start calling in to set up appointments.
Okay.
All right. October the 2nd is the date that we'll start charging for the pilot light safety inspection program.
And what is that fee?
That fee is going to be $55. It's the same as last year. The fee did not go up. It's $55 for the first 3 pieces of equipment, and it's $16 additional for each additional piece of equipment.
Well, when you say equipment, what do you mean equipment?
If they have more than one central furnace or need water heaters lit or something like that, we have some customers that have multiple central furnaces in their home. So.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So the first 3 will be included in the $55 fee after October. However, if they call in and get an appointment within the free time frame, September, how many devices can they get lit up?
Everything is absolutely free during the month of September.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you named 3 days so far, and you said it was a 4th date that's real important.
Yeah, the third day to December the 31st. That's the day that we stop charging for the pilot light safety inspection program, and then it ends in February the 28th of 2019.
Okay, so you start charging from October to December.
That's correct.
And then the light up program itself ends in February.
February the 28th, yes.
Okay, so we don't light up any more pilots after that.
We'll light them up, but it's actually just the official end of that pilot light safety inspection season.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you explain, does everybody have a pilot light?
Everybody does not have a pilot light. We have some customers whose central furnaces actually run on electricity, but the majority of our citizens in Memphis do actually have gas furnaces that use a pilot light.
Okay, so do we recommend or do we consider it safer for Memphis Light Gas and Water to light the pilots, or is it okay for customers to light their own pilots?
A customer can light their own pilot if they're sure about what they're doing. If they're not sure, we ask that they call Light, Gas, and Water, or they need to call a licensed contractor to light their pilot for them.
Okay, well, somebody like me, and I don't know if you all recommend this, but somebody like me, I never cut my pilot off. I just leave it running year-round.
Yes.
So does that increase my utility bill costs, or how does it impact my system?
It can increase your utility costs just a little bit. The gas that it costs to keep the pilot lit is very small.
Okay.
So it's a very small fee that you'll be paying, but you will be paying since the gas is actually coming through to keep that pilot flame lit.
Okay, but it's not a lot.
It's not a lot at all.
And it's not dangerous for me to leave it on?
It's not dangerous at all.
Okay, but do I need to have anything inspected? I mean, when you all come out and turn the pilot light on, you inspect for any other things, right? We do. We do a 25-point inspection, up to 25 different pieces that may be on the furnace, depending on what type of equipment that you do have. Okay. Yes. So say, for example, if one of the staff goes out to do a pilot light up and they see something strange, a gas leak, or what happens then? When our customer service techs come out, they're going to do all the inspections to make sure everything is safe before they light that pilot. Okay. So if they have a gas leak, when they come in, they can inspect for that, and they'll make sure everything is safe before they leave that customer's residence. But one thing to be sure, we will always put safety over comfort. If it comes to a situation where it's not safe to light that pilot and that customer needs to get some work done first, we'll make sure that's taken care of before we put the customer in any kind of danger. So you would repair whatever needs to be repaired to make it safe? Some things we can actually repair, but some things they may have to get a contractor for. And if they have to get a contractor because it's not safe, then Memphis Light, Gas, and Water is not going to light that pilot? We're not going to light the pilot if it's unsafe for our customers. Okay, are there some other tips of information that you want to share with our customers regarding the program, pilot light program? Okay, we can speak about safety just a little bit. Okay, good. One thing you want to do, your pilot light, the color that it should be is a deep blue. If your pilot light is a deep blue color, that means it's a healthy flame. Okay. If it starts to turn more of a yellow type color, that means it's not as safe, it's not burning up all the gas that it should.
They call it a lazy flame. And if you see that inside of your homes, well, the pilot light is not a deep blue and it's some type of a yellow and sometimes red, you probably want to give us a call to let us come out and give it a safety inspection.
So, what you're saying that there's a possibility if the light is the flame should be blue, but it could be another color. So, does that mean customers need to look at their flame on a regular basis?
They should check it periodically for safety.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
And something also that we want to expound on, you don't want to keep flammable liquids in the area where your pilot light is. And also you don't want to put any type of other combustible materials, clothes and things like that around your pilot light.
Oh, what are some of the examples of flammable liquids?
Gasoline, different types of paint, things like that, yes.
Okay. But most pilot lights, aren't they like in closets or?
They are, but you'll be surprised that a lot of times people they don't think about the pilot light. They just see it as storage space and they'll just kind of put things around it without paying any attention to it.
Okay, so what else do we need to know regarding safety? Because when you start talking about gas and pilots and in a few months we will be approaching the season where it's cold and people will be using their furnaces and their central heat and having to have their pilots lit up. So what are some other things our customers need to know to keep safe?
Okay, another thing that we want to do during this winter season that we see a lot of our customers do, you need to use the heating appliances for their intended purpose.
Okay.
Meaning if it's an oven, use it to cook, don't use it to try to warm your home.
Which a lot of people do, heat up their homes, which also uses a lot of energy and causes an increase in their utility costs.
Exactly.
So, what are some of the dangers of having that oven used as a heater to heat the home?
If it could do a lot of things. First of all, if you have anything close to this stove, it could possibly cause a fire.
Okay.
And also, if that pilot light goes out and you're heating your home, it could let carbon monoxide into the home and could actually cause a lot of harm to the customers, possibly explosions and things like that. So
customers, well, when it comes to gas, can you smell it? Can you?
No. Gas is tasteless, odorless, and colorless. Natural gas is. So you can't taste it, see it, or smell it. But what we do is add a chemical called mercaptan into the natural gas to give it that rotten egg smell. That's put in there for a purpose to make sure that if you do have a leak somewhere, that you will be able to detect it.
Okay. So also, when you start talking about appliances being used for the wrong thing, one of the safety things that we probably want to look at is where people use small heaters.
Yes.
To heat their homes.
Exactly.
Which they shouldn't be on dressers.
Shouldn't be on dressers, and again, you don't want to put them too close to the walls. You kind of want to move them out a little bit, and once again, like we spoke about earlier, you don't want to start putting things like clothes and apparel too close, because we hear about it a lot of times that homes catch fire like that during the winter season. You want to talk about what our customers should expect when we come out?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be good. What should they expect?
Okay. First of all, they should expect us to be in a Memphis Light, Gas, and Water vehicle. They should expect for us to be in a Memphis Light, Gas, and Water uniform and have identification.
And so they definitely should have identification.
They should have ID every time we come to a customer's home.
Okay.
Yes. And also, let's talk about the appointment times.
Okay.
Okay. We didn't discuss that yet. And the days that we actually work.
That would be great.
Okay. We work pilot light safety inspections on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We don't do them on Fridays and Sunday, Mondays, and Fridays.
Okay.
Okay. And we have 3 different appointment time slots.
Okay.
The first time slot is 8 to 12. We have 12 to 4 p.m. and a 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
So it'll be any time within. You don't say we'll be there at 8:30. You just say we'll be there between 8 and 12, or 12 and 4, and
4 and 8. And that's on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Okay.
And on Saturdays, we only have the 8 to 12 and the 12 to 4 p.m. slots.
Okay.
Yes, so we can't give them exact time, but we'll give you all appointments are 4-hour windows, but we have like a 99% accuracy rate on making sure that we make our appointments on time.
Okay, so do we have a lot of requests for the pilot light up program?
We try to encourage people to get it done before the cold snap actually happens. Some people take advantage of it regularly, some don't. So then when it finally gets cold outside, you can imagine the phones are ringing and everybody's wanting it done today.
And we can't reach everybody.
And we can't reach everybody today. And also, the appointments that you're looking for, it could be further on down the line than you expect. So we really like to encourage everybody to get it done as soon as possible and not wait till it actually gets cold outside.
And so if they pass that deadline for the free inspection, they're going to have to pay $55, and then they may have to wait because we have such a high demand for the service.
Exactly.
So we're asking customers, if you want to participate in Light, Gas, and Water's Pilot Light Safety Inspection Program, to please call before October, right?
Correct.
To get the service free.
Exactly. Take advantage of that free opportunity.
Okay, and after October, we will be charging $55 through December.
December the 31st, correct.
And then after February 4th.
After the end of February, after December the 31st, it's actually free again.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then
it is?
It's free after December the 31st, yes.
Okay.
And then in February 28th is when we actually just turn off the actual...
Okay, so there's 2 times that it's free.
Yes.
Okay, but for senior citizens, we don't charge them at any time.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gail.
Okay.
For senior citizens and disabled customers, it's free all the time.
And at Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, we consider a senior citizen, is it 62 or 60?
It's 60 years or older, and the utilities must be in the name of that senior customer.
The utility services must be in the name of the the utility service must be in the name of the Light, Gas, and Water customer.
Exactly, and that's for our senior and our disabled customers, yes.
Okay, and so we check that out, and that's at the residence where the utility is
Exactly,
registered.
yes.
Okay, and it must be in the customer's name in order for us to provide this service.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
Okay.
So, are there any other? Is there any other information that you want to share with our audience?
Well, a little bit more information I want to share with the audience, some things that we want to expect from them. Again, we want to make sure that when we come to your home, we want you to be safe. So part of that means the customer has some things to do as well. They need to make sure that we have access to their furnaces or their heating appliances, meaning they need to make sure the area is clear so the technician can get to it.
Okay.
If it's in the attic or in the basement, they need to make sure we have stairs that are actually working.
Okay.
Because we want to keep our customers safe, but we have to keep our employees safe as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So they just make sure everything is clear.
Everything is clear. Make sure we have access, and finally make sure that they're home during the actual appointment time that they have scheduled during that 4-hour period, or have somebody there that's 18 years old or older.
Okay. Well, Phelan, I really want to thank you for providing this useful information for our customers. And is there a number that you want to share with us that our customers need to call for the Pilot Light Up program?
Yes, we have 2 numbers you need to be concerned with. The first number for our residential customers is 820-7878. They have 2 ways to schedule this appointment. They can speak to a service advisor at that number, and they'll schedule an appointment for them.
Okay.
And those hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They can speak to a service advisor to get that scheduled, all right? Or they can use our automated system 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at the same number, 820-7878, and they can get quick access to that by dialing 820-7878-1232.
1232.
And for our Spanish customers, it's 2332.
Okay.
All right.
Again, thank you so much, Phelan. And I want to thank our guests for watching, and I hope that we've shared with you some very valuable information about the programs that we offer at Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. One of the myths out there in our community is that Memphis Light, Gas, and Water takes every opportunity to cut off its customers, no matter what the weather conditions are. The fact is, MLGW does not cut off any residential customers when the heat index is 100 degrees or above. If the heat index is 95 degrees or above, we do not cut off elderly or physically challenged customers. During our winter months, if the wind chill factor is 33 degrees or below for 4 or more hours within a 24-hour period, we will not disconnect any residential customers. Thank you for watching this episode of Power Up Memphis. Hope to see you next time.